Okay guys, so this is going to be a very simple video, well not simple, very detailed video on how to increase your DM booking rate. I see a lot of people who struggle, who are coaches, agencies, whatever they may be, consulting businesses, and they have lots of followers, lots of leads to get through, and they don't know how to turn them into book calls because they're using ManyChat or AI or something like that. So in this video, what you're going to learn is why your calendar is empty despite having all of the leads, the 5 elite set of principles that transform DM conversations, a repeatable framework built around how people actually naturally decide to book on a call with you. So let's get into it. So this is going to be very detailed, so pay attention. Most coaches already have enough leads. The raw material is there. Followers, story views, likes, comments, old conversations, warm leads, and previous inquiries. Yet their calendar is still either empty or not as full as it could be or should be. The leads are already there, as I said. The real diagnosis. Most coaches believe they have a lead generation problem, that if they could just get more eyes on their content, more bookings would follow. But that diagnosis is wrong, and it leads them to spend more time and energy and money solving the wrong problem entirely. They actually have a conversion problem. The leads exist, yes. Their interest exists. What's missing is the ability to convert that interest into an interaction, into a meaningful conversation that turns into a book call. So the quality of your conversations determines the quality of your calendar. Fix the conversations and the calendar fills itself. What most coaches get wrong, the conventional wisdom around appointment setting looks deceptively logical. Most people imagine the process as a neat linear funnel. Leads arrive, you send a message, you pitch, you drop a booking link, and they get a call. This approach particularly is backwards, and it's precisely why so many conversions die in the DMs without ever converting. So the wrong mental model: someone appears, or they like a story or something, they get an automatic DM, then the script is delivered. Before trust is established, they go through the script, and then they just drop a link to book a call. This is wrong. And the reason this fails is people don't book because of your script. They don't book because you've automated a message to them. They book because they trust you. The single biggest mistake setters make is trying to move the conversation faster than the prospect is emotionally ready to move. So someone has to be emotionally and logically ready to get on a call and to move forward. But most people ruin it by sending a link too fast. When you rush to pitch, you signal that you care about the outcome more than the person. That destroys trust in them subconsciously. And trust, once lost, is impossible to cover, or almost impossible. Elite setters understand the fundamental truth. They don't force conversations. They guide the buying decisions behind those conversations. There is a world of difference between the two. The people who just try and get a script out of the way and get messages sent through ManyChat to try and book a call, and the people who actually want to sit down and understand the client, and then if they fit, book them in. Okay? So let's get into the next point. Every message has one goal. Most setters approach every message with one burning question. How do I get this person to book a call? That mindset creates pressure around the conversation, and the prospects feel it immediately. The conversation becomes transactional and the human connection evaporates. Elite setters reframe this goal entirely. The purpose of every single message is not to book a call. The purpose of every single message is to simply earn the next message. This sounds a little bit different to what you've been told, but you're just trying to earn their attention, right? You're not owed it. This shift is subtle. Its impact is enormous. When your only goal is to keep the conversation moving naturally and authentically, you stop pushing and start connecting. The pressure disappears and the conversation flows. So the trust cascade is what I call it. Conversation momentum. Each message earns the next. The conversation builds naturally and feels effortless to the prospect. Trust is created. Repeated genuine exchanges build rapport and emotional safety with the person over time. Opportunities emerge. From trust comes openness. The prospect becomes ready to hear about what's possible and what you have to offer. And then the book calls follow naturally and logically. And it's not a forced outcome of like, hey, if you book this call, I'll show you blah, 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 and all these benefits. It's just a natural progression of the conversation. Okay? So principle 2, diagnose before you prescribe. Elite setters spend far more time asking questions than they do talking. This isn't a technique, it's a philosophy rooted in deep understanding of human psychology. People don't buy solutions. They buy solutions to problems they buy solutions to problems they deeply understand themselves. When you help someone, articulate their own pain clearly, you do more selling than the pitch ever could. So what you're doing is you're repeating back to someone their problems that they struggle with. Not just word for word, but you're speaking their language. The 5 diagnostic questions. Number 1, where are they now? What does their day-to-day look like? What results are they currently getting? Number 2, desired outcome. Where do they want to be? What does success look like for them in a specific measurable term? Number 3, biggest frustration. What has tried their patience the most? What keeps them stuck despite their best efforts? Number 4, previous attempts. What have they already tried? Why did those approaches fall short? What did they learn from that? And you can apply this to any niche, by the way. And number 5, why now? What has changed that makes solving this urgent today rather than in 6 months? So, why diagnosis changes everything. When you understand someone's current reality, their aspirations, their frustrations, and their history with the problem, you don't need a script to position the sales call. The positioning writes itself. You simply reflect back what they've told you, connect it to what's possible, and explain that the sales call is the right environment to explore how that gap gets closed. It feels genuinely helpful because it is genuinely helping people. The deeper your diagnosis, the more natural your positioning becomes. And the more the prospect feels understood rather than sold to. So never recommend before you understand the person. Prescription before diagnosis is malpractice in medicine and in sales and in DM setting. Build trust before positioning. People don't buy from businesses, they buy from people that they trust. In a world saturated with coaches, consultants, and offers, trust is the true differentiator, and it cannot be faked, rushed, or scripted. It must be genuinely earned through the quality of your attention and your intention. Okay, just to be clear. Genuine curiosity. Ask questions because you actually want to know the answers, not because you're following a formula. Prospects can feel the difference immediately, and it shifts the entire energy of the conversation if you're just being robotic versus if you're actually connecting with them. And that's why it's important to create your script in a way which sounds very genuine. That's what we always do for our clients. Match their style. Mirror the tone, pace, and communication style of the prospect. Not all the time, but sometimes. Someone formal deserves a formal tone. Someone casual and energetic deserves that same energy in return. Rapport lives in the match. The sales call should never feel like a trap. It should feel like a logical next step, an obvious welcome move that the prospect is genuinely excited to take. When trust is high, booking becomes easy. When trust is low, no script in the world will save you. Active listening. Acknowledge what the people are saying before moving forward. Reference earlier parts of the conversation. Show that you're paying attention, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Give value first. Offer a useful insight, a resource, or a reframe before asking for anything in return. When you give first, you establish yourself as someone invested in the other person's success, not just for your commission. Okay. Protect the calendar. The real job description. Most setters believe their job is to book as many calls as possible. They measure success by volume. The more calls on a calendar, the better they're performing. This is a costly misunderstanding. The job isn't to fill the calendar. The job is to protect your client's time. Every unqualified call booked in is an hour of the sales team's life and their money and your money wasted, and a potential deal that never has a chance of closing. Elite setters understand that they are the first line of quality control. They are gatekeepers, not door openers. This is a very important point. Their credibility is built on the quality of the conversations they send forward, and they take that responsibility seriously. So The first line of quality control is appointment setters. This is a very important thing. And that's why I don't like the AI appointment setters, because there's a lack of quality control. One qualified appointment is worth more than 5 poor ones. The qualification test. Can we genuinely help? Is this person's situation one where the client's offer would create a meaningful, measurable improvement in their life or business? Are they committed? Is this someone who is serious about taking action, or are they just browsing? Are they ready? Is now the right time for them, emotionally, practically, financially, for them to take the next step or not? Do they fit the profile? Does the prospect match the ideal client's program that's built to serve them? Will the sales team thank you? Meaning, if you book this call, would the closer be happy or frustrated that you booked the call? Every conversation is data. Average setters finish conversations. Elite setters study them. Every single DM exchange, whether it ends in a booking, a dead end, or somewhere in between, contains information that can make you dramatically better. The difference between a 10% booking rate and a 40% booking rate is rarely one breakthrough moment, okay? It's the accumulation of small improvements across hundreds of conversations. What to track? Openers that get replies. Which opening message consistently generates a response? What do they have in common? Personalization, curiosity, relevance. Double down on what works here and retire what doesn't. Questions that build engagement. Which question causes prospects to open up? Which questions are successful? Which questions in your script have worked the best? Where conversations die. At what point in the conversation does it get cold or dry? That's where your skill gap is, where you lack skill. Identify the pattern and engineer a solution specifically for that moment where the conversation goes cold. Repeating objections. Which objections come up and again? These are not problems. These are opportunities to improve your system. The compounding effect. Appointment setting is not a skill you perfect once and then maintain. It is a discipline of continuous optimization, a commitment to treating every conversation as data. I'm losing my tongue here. A commitment to treating every conversation as data, as a data point in an ongoing experiment. When you improve your opener reply rate by 10%, your qualifications by 10%, and your objection handling by 10%, the compound effect across a full week of these conversations is transformational to your business. You're not just booking more calls, you're booking better calls and faster and with less effort. So these changes here, openers, questions, objections, if you improve these will help transform your business. Because the result is not just 30% better, it's an entire different league of results. Okay, so for my business, apexsetting.com, this is the kind of framework we follow. It changes, but this is the main this is a general expression of it. This isn't a script. Scripts are rigid, mechanical, and easy to detect. This is a repeatable system. Okay, so number one, here we have personalized opener. We start with a tailored introduction, maybe a question, maybe something simple, maybe something related to something they've said in before, or maybe something they've commented on a post. Okay, then we build rapport. So we create genuine connection quickly. So asking about themselves, asking genuine questions that they would want to reply to. We're asking things that actually makes them want to reply. We're not sending long-winded marketing messages. Discover goals. Uncover desired outcomes. So we want to see what their goal is, what they're trying to achieve, what do they want, what preferred reality do they want to live in, etc. Understand the pain. Understand what challenges them, what holds them back, why are they not where they want to be right now, why they're not there right now. That's basically what it comes down to. You want to understand why they're not there, what's stopping them, and qualify honestly. Do they have the money? Are they ready? What kind of person are they, etc., etc. If you can go through these, 5 points, you're going to do very well. So, final thoughts on this. The best appointment setters in the world don't rely on clever scripts, manipulative tactics, or high-pressure closes. They have invested in something far more durable and far more powerful, a deep mastery of human behavior. So trust. The foundation of every book call earned through consistency, curiosity, and genuine care is never assumed. So you're trying to build trust. Curiosity, the engine of great diagnosis. Asking better questions unlocks better insight, and deeper insight drives better positioning. Psychology, understand why people make decisions, not just what they say. This separates elite setters from average ones to understand human psychology. Even the simple fact of just knowing that people would rather read a shorter message, a simpler message, easier written message, than something that's flashy, wordy, seems professional, and long. No one's going to read that. Qualification. Protecting the calendar means protecting the client relationship. Quality always outperforms quantity in appointment setting. Okay, this is one of the biggest things. The quality of leads you book into a sales call is down to the appointment setter's discretion, and they have to be trained on that. Consistency. Mastery is built through repetition and review. Every conversation is an opportunity to compound your skill. Appointment setting isn't about convincing people, it's about helping the right people make the right decision at the right time with full confidence. Master these 5 principles and you will increase your booking rate without needing a single additional lead. Better conversations to find better prospects, to book better appointments, to sign better clients. Yes, you can get an AI or a ManyChat or something to book as many calls as possible. But when you're in a coaching business or an agency, someone who's selling a high ticket service, you want the best possible prospects on the call. You don't want half your day to be full of unqualified calls. You want highly qualified sales calls all day, every day. And if you want help with that, visit my website here. These are some of our clients. We basically source appointment setters. We interview hundreds of appointment setters, if not thousands. We talk with them, find who's the best, filter out the top 1% of setters from all those interviews that we run. And then we onboard them, hire them. We ramp them on, place them in your business, train them every single week, and manage them. So if you want help doing that or any part of that, or if you want to hire a setter, or if you want to build this infrastructure of appointment setting, then click the link in the bio. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.